I've just celebrated Mass on this Wednesday of Holy Week, and as we Christians enter into these high holy days, all my prayers are with the whole Catholic theological community, our students, our staff, lecturers and professional staff, all your families, many of you at home, staying at home with your families at the present time. Also with our affiliated seminaries and religious congregations, our thoughts are with you as you celebrate through these Easter days. A Triduum like no other, like we've never known in Australia, perhaps never known globally in church history. It's a time for interior quietness, a time for staying very close to the Lord in our hearts as he makes his journey through these days, through his death and resurrection. It's also a time of solidarity with others, particularly in the first instance by observing the stay at home and social distancing requirements that are on us as a sign of respect and support for those frontline workers who are trying to care for our community. At CTC, we've also successfully begun the adventure into online learning. We've all now completed 1 week of classes in the units for this semester. It's been a difficult journey of transition. It's not been easy. There have been some hiccups, some glitches with the technology here and there, but already we can see so much generosity, so much creativity on both the part of lecturers and of students to engage with the learning technologies and to keep working together, to keep in contact with each other through this time. We hope to bring that to a good conclusion for this semester. It's clear already that we're in this time of social distancing, of some isolation for a longer rather than a shorter time. The Prime Minister this week was talking about a 6-month period before Australia begins to revert to business as usual, whatever that new normal might be. So how will that impact on us in our studies for this year, in our courses for this year? There certainly will be impacts on those winter intensives we have scheduled in July, and even for the beginning, perhaps even for the end of semester 2 in the rest of the year. Already the university and its stakeholders are talking hard to decide what is the best course of action about those. And I hope that by the end of the Easter break, I can communicate with you in a clear way about how those winter intensives will be delivered and how semester 2 will begin and will end as far as we know this year. Our goal is that you can successfully progress your learning through semester 1, semester 2 and complete the units that you had enrolled in for this year. So perhaps now, over these next few days, it's time to take a break from study. The essays, the assignments will all be there on the other side of the holy days. Perhaps it's time to log out of the learning management system, to turn off ARC, to turn off the Zoom classes. Perhaps it's time to turn off all our devices and enter more deeply into our own heart, enter more deeply, more presently with those who are important to us, whether those we live with or those we contact through social media and other technologies. Perhaps it's time to focus on the relationships and not so much on the technology at this time. And perhaps it's time to learn again, even perhaps more deeply, the gospel message to us to not be afraid. Pope Francis is calling on the world not to be afraid. The uncertainty, the panic in some ways around us are a cause for fear, and that itself is a type of contagion that can be greater even than the material need or cause. So we take care about that, take care of our own spirits not to get caught up in this fear. Our scripture tradition reminds us that there is no need to be afraid for those who act justly towards their neighbour, who act with compassion towards the suffering and the afflicted, and who are kind and concerned for the poor and those who are most vulnerable. There's no need to be afraid in this world, though the storms may rage, and face to face with God in the world to come. So as we enter these holy days, may every blessing of the Lord's death and resurrection be with you, with your household at this time. God bless.